Good afternoon. This is Thunderhands with the Red Road channel. Wakianape, Thunderhands in Lakota. I was thinking about doing a little pictorial today. Don't know what I'm going to name this, although I should probably preface this by saying that I've talked about different stories in the past, the murder of Sitting Bull and the Crazy Horse series, and general indigenous information series. And, you know, I mention names all the time, like people like, Kicking Bear and just different, Custer. I talk about a lot of different people in my storytelling. And I do like rambling on and just telling the story without pictures. But then I thought it might be nice if people actually could see the photo of the, person I'm talking about. So I'm going to attempt to do that today. And other people can enjoy this too, because I will put, they're just photos. Okay, let's start with the first photo here and see what we can do. Okay, so I've talked about Sitting Bull, and Sitting Bull was in my last video about the murder of Sitting Bull, and you might want to review that. But Sitting Bull, for this to be a standalone video, I will just talk about this person in general, maybe talk a little bit about my past video or videos. But this is a great picture of Sitting Bull, a colorized photo. Beautiful. I take these from my archives. I'm somewhat of a historian. I have all kinds of archives of different tribes and Native Americans in those tribes and warriors in those tribes, and connected with each picture is a story, so I could go on probably for the rest of my life and 2 lifetimes more telling you about some of these things, showing you, just passing on wisdom of the indigenous people in general, and correlating that now with maybe what's happened. There's always a lesson in history. This is Sitting Bull, and just a beautiful medicine man chief that hung out with Crazy Horse in the Battle of the Little Bighorn, did all kinds of ritual and sun dances, and before they went into this, probably one of the most heard of battles ever in the Old West. See, that's another thing about me. I'm a wisdom keeper, but I'm also a historian into the Old West in general. Both sides, the outlaws, the cowboys, all that stuff. So this is just a part of true West history, basically. So yeah, Sitting Bull. Here's a photo that I like. I don't know who this warrior is, but it's another colorized photo, just to give you kind of a idea of how the Lakota Nation and the people looked in color. There's lots of black and white, but some of these colorized photos really draw out the spirituality and the character and that type thing. I did a colorized photo myself of Lozan, the Apache warrioress, and that ended up in True West magazine. So I'm kind of into this sort of thing. Here's a picture of Wild Bill Cody. Yes. In his, more mature years, let's say. I mentioned him in the past video about Sitting Bull, because Sitting Bull went on tour with him, and earlier, before the time when he was nearing getting murdered, or that period of time, the end of his life. But he did Wild West shows with Buffalo Bill Cody, and they traveled all over the place, Europe, all over the United States, New York, you know. Here's another photo of Sitting Bull, colorized. Great shot. This was a Wild West show, but it did feature all kinds of actual people at the time, including Sitting Bull and others, and acting out certain things and doing certain things. So Sitting Bull got into showbiz a little bit, and he traveled and met all kinds of people and interacted with all kinds of people, and all kinds of people loved him. So very interesting that he would end up getting murdered by, like I said in my last video, his own people, or his own people being involved. So yeah, let's go on to the next picture. I'm just doing this stuff right off the top of my head here, and hoping for the best. Oh, okay. Let's do this real quick. This is in the slides. You got to consider this a slideshow. I'll just go through this real quick. spiritofcrazyhorse.com. Consider this like a little commercial or something. spiritofcrazyhorse.com, my website. Spirit of Crazy Horse link is in the show notes below. Roger Thunderhands at Gmail, a way to contact me. You can donate at this site for, if you feel like it's worth it, anything in here you enjoy. Not necessary though. This is just to get the word out here. Got a couple of my books that I will give you free for a donation or exchange. I guess it's not free, but they are worth $20, and the donations can be anything, so it's like for free. Anyway, let me get on with the video here. I just happened to come upon this, honest. I had it stuck in here. I was going to put it at the end, but I don't want to get Crazy Horse here, or just his horse is crazy. Here is here is American Horse, and what a great photo this is. He was involved in all that stuff that was going on back then in the around the time of the Battle of Little Bighorn, and he was, I think he was a peacemaker too. He interesting that he would take the name American Horse. By that time, well, yes, I mean, you know, it was America, and so they would take any name that they felt that they wanted to take, and they're very colorful and beautiful, and it's just a beautiful thing, you know, the whole name bit. Here is the bad guy. This is Bullhead. This is, so in my last video I talked about this guy is kind of like one of the braves, or, you know, warriors that you could use the term sold out, I guess, and became a cop for the tribal police. That this guy is the one that ended up, in the end, near the end of the, I should probably make you watch the video, but he was a major player in the death of Sitting Bull. Major player. I'll just put it that way. I'll keep you on edge. You should go back and watch the video. But at least you know who the guy is. See, he didn't look like this later on. His hair was cut short, and he had on a blue uniform and a badge. Seriously, I couldn't find that one. I'll find it. This is from a past video. This is the glorious, wonderful Colonel Shington of, and I say that very sarcastically, because this is the killer and murderer of innocent men, women, and children of the Lakota Nation. Or the Cheyenne Nation. They were both kind of together at the same time. They were allies. So this guy went into Sand Creek and with the Colorado Mountain Volunteers and committed one of the most bloody massacres against the native people of this land that you could imagine. I guess you can kind of see it in his eyes, you know. Really, I mean, if you look into this photo, does that guy look in his right mind to you? Well, I guess he wasn't. Oh, this is Conquering Bear. Now, in one of my videos, I think what was part 1 of talking about the Grattan incident, that incident where the war. Actually, the whole Lakota Wars kind of started off that incident. The majority, major, you know, the major ones. But Conquering Bear was involved in that Grattan incident, and going back, just a quick story here, he was the guy that, first guy that came out to defend the little encampment of Lakota people and tribal members outside the fort. They camped around the fort a lot of times. And there was a name for them. They were called loafers because they were kind of, you know, like bartering with the white man and getting goods and kind of cozying up or whatever. But this guy was the leader in one of those camps, Conquering Bear. I can't believe I found this photo of him. It's amazing. Didn't know it existed, really. Here he is. And he got shot, wounded, when he came out to defend the little village because of a cow that got lost and ended up being butchered by the people there in the camp, and misunderstandings, and the Mormon lost the cow, and one thing led to another, and next thing you know, you got a war going on. That's my cow, you butchered it. Soldiers march out, cannons, the whole bit. A war right there. So this was the guy I was talking about, Conquering Bear, who got wounded and hung on a long, long time. And was a friend of Crazy Horse. And Crazy Horse was at his side in his final days, that type of thing. So yeah, Conquering Bear. Okay, here's Crowfoot. That's right, Crowfoot. He was, in the last video I did, he was in the room when they came to arrest Sitting Bull. This is his son. And there's a long story about that, or a short story, it could be, I guess. He was murdered along with Sitting Bull that day, unfortunately. Sad thing. Very sad thing. And the story goes that he was a little bit defiant. He was in shock, I guess, when they were taking his father away, and I don't know what their relationship was, but he said something like, "You're the great Sitting Bull." I mean, he almost like, "What are you doing? Why are you letting them take you away? And why are you letting them," almost, you know, in sarcasm? I don't know. You know, those are the words, supposedly. And he died that day along with his father. So, yeah. This is a picture of him. Let's zoom in and just kind of really look at this guy, huh? Yeah. What a beautiful portrait, really. Yeah, I kind of like to bring, you know, the thing behind pictures is, I kind of like this idea, because the thing behind pictures is that it's worth 1,000 words or 1,000,000 words. And when you tell a story, like I do all the time, being the storyteller that I am, when you speak of certain people, I know people can hang on. They can imagine stuff. It's great. Imagination is great too. So either way, we'll try stuff out here and see what happens. Me talking and rambling on with my stories, and then I probably should just get my act together here, and when I do a story on Crazy Horse, get all this stuff lined up. Yeah, I know. I'm putting it together. Here's General Custer. When I talk to you people out there, just imagine like we're sitting around a campfire, basically. Just the good old boys, or the good old tribe, or the good old prayer circle here. A warrior circle, medicine circle. We're just sitting around talking, going, hey, yeah, and just, it's a slideshow, It's imagination, but hey, it's a slideshow too. Kind of fun stuff. Here's another colorized photo of Custer. General George Armstrong Custer, long hair. And I talked about that in the Crazy Horse video, the Battle of the Little Bighorn, and how it all came about, and the generals that were involved in the pre-battle, and the pre-battle to the Little Bighorn, the Rosebud, with General Crook, and I made a mistake last time. I said General Miles, and I had to correct it, but it was General Crook, that came in right before this battle, the Battle of the Greasy Grass, the Little Bighorn. This is a great colorized photo. Just kind of looks like the pompous ass maybe he was. Don't want to be too judgmental here, but, Custer wasn't a favorite of mine in any way, shape, or form. Although I do give him credit, though, for being he was an Indian fighter, and he was actually married, or I don't know if he was married, but I know he had a woman on the side that was Native American. So go figure, huh? Could have been married to him for a while. Don't know. I'll have to check on that. But for sure, he did have a concubine or lover or paramour or whatever you want to call it. A native woman. Here is Gaul. Yeah, Gaul. Gaul. Now, see, I talked about Gaul in the Crazy Horse video, about him being one of the main guys that made a name for himself that day at the Battle of the Little Bighorn and the Greasy Grass. Went charging in, just immediately cutting off several prongs of attack by Reno and Benteen and Custer, dividing them up, kind of. This guy went in full force. So I said at the time in that video, Crazy Horse, although, yes, he served well in that battle and was a leader, there were many other warriors as well that were in his cadre, let's say, or aligned with him. Great photo of Gaul. Here's another one. Here's a great photo. I love these old photos. Edward Curtis was known for his taking of pictures of some of the people of that day. This could well be one of his, it looks like one of his, but maybe not. Chief Gaul, what a proud-looking, fierce warrior this man was. Okay. Here's General George Crook. Now, see, this was the guy that was coming in my video about Crazy Horse series. He was the guy that was coming in that at the Rosebud, I believe, and he got hit first by the Crazy Horse and the boys, and they had 1,300 men, and Crazy Horse had 9, and they had less guns, but they held him off. But General George Crook went on later on in history to become the same guy that ended up in the Apache Wars, okay? And his name was Nantan Lupan, the gray wolf, I think it is. That's what it means. That's what the natives called him. He was kind of, as far as generals go, and trying to subjugate people and all that stuff, this guy was looked well upon by the natives, okay, because he did have a compassionate side and had a side to him that had compassion. I always like to look into the eyes. You can kind of see that there, huh? Kind of an earthy looking character, not more like a general, kind of like next to the earth, out living with and dealing with, that type of thing. Yeah, so I kind of like Crook. I have respect for him because he was a friend, more of a friend to the natives than, let's say, General Miles, who was vicious. Kicking Bear. Okay, this is the guy that was in the last one with the Sitting Bull murder, okay? And Kicking Bear was the guy I talked about that came in from the Ghost Dancers, that was kind of like a high priest in the Ghost Dancers that was formed by Wavoka form the Ghost Dancers, and then this guy ended up being one of the main high priests or whatever in the Ghost Dance. So I talked about him coming in and having a council with Sitting Bull. Kicking Bear. Wow, really? I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think so. A little bit of spirituality there, maybe, huh? Okay, this is Little Big Man. Little Big Man. He was the guy that held Crazy Horse's arms when he was... But he, they hung around a lot together before then. There's a lot of mystery involved here. But he did hold back Crazy Horse's arms and kept him from pulling the knife out, and which allowed enough time for the soldier to come out of nowhere and bayonet him in the back. How's that? Stabbed in the back. Is there any metaphors there that we could think about? Now, I'm not blaming this guy. I don't know what his intentions were. It might have been, stories are, it might have been that he just didn't want them to take Crazy Horse down, right? He was trying to protect him in the sense of like, well, if he pulls that knife out, they're going to take him down right away, trying to stop him from doing that. So I don't have any ill will feelings. Who knows what went on in the mind, see? But this man was a friend of Crazy Horse before that. But it still fulfills the prophecy of being pulled down by your own people. It's being pulled down, being held by the arms. Yeah, it fits. Here is Longbow. Longbow. He was hanging out during that time back in the period of time right there when Sitting Bull got killed. He was involved in that somehow. I think Longbow was... I gotta pause here a minute and take a swallow and talk at the same time. Longbow, yeah, he was, okay, I remember now. He was a cop, too, before the Sitting Bull incident, and had left the police force, and he was actually head of the police force, the tribal police. But I think he had second thoughts, and he started reflecting on everything, and he went, I think I've had enough of this. I think I'm going back to being on the other side. So he did end up on the other side, on Sitting Bull's side, Longbow. See, it looks like he still might have his police uniform shirt on there. Matter of fact, that's what it is. But, hey, a lot of times they would just take uniforms off dead soldiers and stuff. So what's the diff? Okay, Nelson Miles. Oh, now see, this was the other guy that I was talking about that came in later after the Battle of the Little Bighorn, and this guy was the hardliner, okay, before we saw General Crook. But this is General Miles, and General Miles was the hardliner, the let's just kill all the Indians and get it over with. Put them, do whatever we got to do. But General Crook, the other guy that I showed you with the beard, was not like that at all. So it was like some were kind of for the indigenous people, and some were kind of like, let's just get rid of them. This was one of the let's get rid of them guys. Okay, I talked about young man afraid of his horses in the Crazy Horse video. And several times about, the colorfulness of the names they had back then. And I spoke of this particular person who used to hang out with Crazy Horse, one of the warriors. Yeah, kind of like to look at the eyes of some of these people. Is he tranced out? Might be, or is he just on a high spiritual level? I wonder, huh? Man afraid of his horses. Wow. Okay, well, I think that is the end of the photos that I had for the day. Yeah, this video kept pretty short, actually. Okay, so let me go back to, since this is the end of the video, let's just review this real quick. The Red Road channel is associated with Spirit of Crazy Horse. It's kind of like a mutual admiration society. And the prayer circle as well. The Red Road Prayer Circle, who there are members watching this video right now. How's it going, Matt and Tara on the hill, and Miles, and how about Rick and Shauna? Just want to say hello to some of the members in the circle. If you'd like to join the circle, we'd love to have you. We're looking for people that are into this type of thing, of spirituality in the indigenous tradition, and living according to those, walking the red road, basically, is what it amounts to. Trying to live up to those virtues, be family, friends, support group, tribe. That's basically what this is about. So I'd love to have you. If you want to inquire about it, rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. I don't know why I think people are afraid to, for some reason or other. Email me. Hell, I'll talk to you. It's no problem. I don't know what the problem is. I get a few emails, but hey, this is important stuff here. And if you're into this kind of thing, this concept is in alignment with those ways, It is a tribe. So anyway, I'll leave it there. This is Thunderhands saying Wopila and Aho.